This is Concubitus, sex and everything in between. So welcome to our first official episode.
Yay!
And it's Maren speaking and
Taya.
yes.
And we're here again to discuss what the hell is going on.
Yeah, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year!
Even though we're honestly recording this episode before the new year even started.
Secrets that aren't supposed to be told.
Maybe that's what we should say. Okay. So
on today's episode, we have sex talk.
whoop whoop.
Yay! No, the reason why this is actually a subject and why this podcast even became was another wineful evening where we came to talk about sex talk.
I think we actually only had hot chocolate that night.
We actually only had hot chocolate. What am I talking
Which
about?
is a bit sad if you think
True.
about it now.
It was a fun evening though, and the subject
Definitely.
of sex talk happened, and apparently Maren and I have very different worldviews upon this.
Yeah, it kept us quite busy, like this whole topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in speaking of, literally speaking,
Exactly.
Maren, what is your point on sex talk?
Yeah, so we were just realizing that I really like talking during sex and you don't. Yeah.
It's not that I don't like it. I just, well, maybe it is. I just
Yeah.
don't ever feel like there's something to say
Exactly.
that I can't say with my body.
Which is like the complete opposite for me. So yeah, we also actually talked about the different ways, or like what is sex talk, right?
What is it even?
Because I think most people think it's like those nasty words and
Yeah,
then
it's like talk dirty to me, daddy. Where
Yeah.
Like, no.
talk dirty to me. Exactly.
Yes. Is that the sex talk you do?
Well, it's honestly both. So it's on the one hand like, oh yeah, like saying maybe some dirty things, which like is supposed to turn you on.
It's supposed to?
In the best case, that's working.
Yeah.
No, it does work in most of the cases, but it also really depends on the person. That's also I think important to mention. Like with some people, I also don't talk.
Yeah, that's one of my
Or,
questions.
yeah.
Because if you have sex with a person who seems uncomfortable with the sex talk, do you still sex talk to them?
Well, I try it.
And
because
then if they're sending you weird looks, you're just like, okay, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, honestly. No, because it's not only dirty talk, it's also like me trying to talk about sexual experiences, or do you feel comfortable? What's your favorite position? Do you want to switch into any position you like? So it's more
you're
like
communicating while you're sex talking.
Exactly. Because I think for me personally, it's a bit strange to just like have sex and then I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening, or I feel maybe uncomfortable myself, or
okay.
or like I'm like, I actually want to do something else or have a break, or I
Yeah.
have to pee or whatever. So
Very inconvenient, man.
I know, not the best timing most of the cases. But so it's more like, so it's dirty talk as well as just communicating what's actually happening and what you want to happen and what your partner wants to happen.
Okay.
So it can go in either way, but of course, if the other person is not really into that, or, I mean, you can also sense that, right? If
Yeah.
there's no feedback,
So-
like,
I usually let my body do the talking.
yeah.
And I think it also depends on who you're with. Because me, by myself, I'm very giving into whatever the situation is. So I let my partner take control. And then I follow along. That being said, when I feel like there's a need of change, I just take charge and change the directive for whatever I want. But now that you mention it, I have, for the whole, you want to change position or you want to communicate that something else needs to happen. There are those situations when you're with a guy and you can feel like he's not really feeling the situation, or there's something wrong, or you're like, you need to put him on a spot where he feels better, or because you feel comfortable, but there's something wrong at the end of the line. And I've actually, in those situations, been like, how do you want me? Because I am the person to be, you can take me however you want.
Yeah.
And then when I put it on, how do you want me? They feel more confident in the way to be like, okay, I can place her like this. Because she gave permission in some sort.
Yeah.
And I've both experienced them just doing it and them using words of some way of how they wanted me. And then that's when I don't know how to communicate back.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if it happens the other way around. Like if you experience that your partner is like, oh, do you actually like that? Or is it more like, oh yeah, I'm just doing my thing and you for sure you like it? Because,
yeah, most of the time it is them doing their thing. That being said, I am persona a very pleasing person, so I use a lot of time analyzing the person. This sounds horrible. You're not an experiment, guys. I enjoy it.
Maybe a bit.
a little, no. But I do analyze the whole situation, and if I feel something's like getting tedious or like, I'll switch it up for sure. And then if it doesn't work, we'll just change it up again.
Yeah. So it's more like something that happens in the situation from time to time.
Yes. And if anyone has ever addressed me in a sex talk way, if you don't know how to respond, just don't respond. And then the partner will really fast catch up to whatever. It's not like I'll be like, yeah, that's I wouldn't want to ruin the mood by doing something I wasn't comfortable doing.
But did it ever happen to you that someone was sex talking?
I feel like the sex talking has more occurred not during like sex in that way, but more in like telephone sex or something like that. And I haven't had to answer the same way back because I could just do it with my body.
Yeah.
But the amount of men that I have actually encountered that has done sex talk is less than one hand.
Okay.
Maybe they're just hiding it.
Yeah.
Or really good at showing what they want by just doing.
But I think that also comes back to like what we will talk about in later episodes, and what we already touched a bit on as well, is that this is probably also all coming back to this like perfect illusion we're trying to create about sex or around sex. So it's like, okay, now I'm having sex with a person and it has to be perfect and everything has to like, already taking off your clothes is like a disaster. You know?
It's the worst.
And then
skinny jeans, am I right?
The trousers get stuck, then you have your socks on, but you actually want to take them off, you know, like all of
How does one do that sexy?
Exactly.
It isn't done sexy.
It is just legit not possible.
Let's not kid ourselves. Tennis socks is not sexy.
Exactly. Wearing them right now.
Also, stockings are not sexy to take off. Those,
when
when they're off,
the
the person's like the ghost inside.
Oh my God.
Girls, you know what we're talking about. When you've worn stockings all day, and you take them off, and there's this weird hollow air inside of them. You're like, who is this empty soul? They're not sexy. Nobody wants to take those off of you, but you look damn good in them.
And then you knock the other person out by like trying to take off your bra or whatever, or like the person can't open your bra.
But that's a whole other talk.
I mean, yeah, that's also. But I think it all comes back to us pretending that everything is like this perfect and amazing and romantic.
Yes.
In most of the cases. Again, that's just our opinion about it, of course. But that's why I think especially when it comes to men having sex with women, it's like, oh, I have to perform, I have to fuck her hard or whatever, you know? And then it's like, yo, but we can just also talk about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to perform. This is not a marathon.
But and then again, is it communication or the specific word sex talk?
Yeah.
Because I'm all for communication.
Yeah.
It's just the specific sex talk that I'm not a fan of. And that being said, I am lacking definitely both of them. Because I'd rather just go along with whatever's happening than actually communicate.
Yeah.
I was with this guy that was very eager. And then everything was not as intense as you might have wanted it to be. And all I wanted to tell him was like, breathe. It's okay.
Yeah.
We can kiss and fool around for another 5 minutes or so. Like, there's no rush for the penetration part.
Exactly.
And yet I didn't. I was just like, baffled by him being so eager for it to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which is again the pressure, right?
The pressure. And I was like, I am okay. Like, I understand the pressure. It's so exciting to be with someone for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if I could have a boner, my boner would also be confused. Honestly, I shout out to the men because they have to control a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally just have to open our that's not literally, that was me condescending women, but you know what I mean.
That happens.
That happens. Sadly, that happens. But we don't need to do it like that.
Yeah.
And they have to perform in a whole another way.
But this is, I think, also again socialization, right? This is also again us thinking we don't have to. We could probably. I mean, of course, we don't have a boner because we don't have a penis. But
what?
Well, at least that's what I thought. You never know. But yeah, I think also it just can be so awkward. Also sex talk. I also experienced awkward sex talk. So it's not always
people who were
arousing.
bad at doing sex talk but wanted to do it because you were doing it?
No, it was just, I mean, you also have to be on the same page when it comes to sex talk.
Yeah.
That means, obviously, this doesn't work with everyone in the same way, right?
Yeah.
So I was in situations 2 times now where 2 people were giving my vagina a name.
Oh.
And for me personally, this is just, I just don't find this erotic.
It's really not.
Yeah, and I actually talked about it with a friend, and even he was like, oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I do this all the time, and you know, that's really nice if you miss someone's vagina, and then you can give the vagina a name.
Just call it a vagina.
Exactly, and I honestly, in those situations it happened, I was just there being like,
and you're leaving.
Yeah, over and out.
Yes.
In the literal sense. So it doesn't work with everyone. In the same way.
But do you experience, because what puzzles me is the whole sex talk part, not the communication, but the specific, let's put it like this, do this to me.
Turning you on through language.
Through language.
Yeah.
Is that a very big part of your sexual, is that a thing? And how do you even, this sounds very stupid, but do you have an internal catalog where you can find
a dictionary?
A dictionary where you find whatever you want to say, or a whole just how do you make up whatever you're saying? Is it the same thing as you say to every guy?
Yeah, so now it's out. No, definitely no. It really depends, and there were situations as well where no sex talk was happening at all.
But do you enjoy sex as much then? Is sex talk important part?
It is a very important part for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But then actually what we also already talked about the last time was it is also interesting when it comes to language, because if someone is sex talking me in German, oh my god, no. This is legit not working. I don't know why, but this is really a major difference for me. In English, it's totally fine. Or if you talk whatever language to me, I'm like, oh, ooh, interesting.
Okay.
No, but I don't know. As soon as someone is trying to be sexy in German, I'm just like, oh my god.
That's 2 words that just doesn't go hand in hand.
Exactly.
I think it might be the both of ours mother's tongue, that both Danish and German is not the most beautiful language. And especially if you're talking dirty, there are just words that does not sound great.
Yeah.
And then it will be easier, but it's also, if I'm with a Danish guy, why the hell would he be talking dirty to me in English?
Yeah, exactly. That's also strange.
But then again, I moan sometimes I do say fuck, which is, also Danish, I guess.
Just in between, or?
Just randomly shout, fuck! No, but
could be.
Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly.
No, but you know how some people moan, oh god? I tend to use fuck.
Aha, okay. So it's an expression of pleasure.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not a very worded fuck. It's
Yeah.
more like under my breath fuck.
Yeah.
And I would never say anything in Danish.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a very sexy language, and
Yeah.
I feel like it would ruin the mood to be speaking
Yeah.
Danish.
No, I totally agree.
Unless it's like, how do you want me? Then I'll obviously say that in Danish.
Yeah.
If they're Danish.
You should say it in German the next time.
How do you say it in German?
I'm gonna teach you.
Oh, thank you. Off camera. Yeah.
That's a different story. No, but yeah, no, I totally agree. That would be strange. That would be for sure weird. And it is also interesting that how language can be used, right? Because if, let's say I have sex with a man and then that person is trying to express his power because that is so considered
Normal.
as male, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't like this at all, but at the same time, I just find this ridiculous sometimes as well. You know
But
what I
how
mean?
do they express themselves?
It's
As
like,
if they were in power.
oh, I'm gonna fuck you hard.
Okay, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say a judgment about that, but I just find it
It
interesting.
does happen a lot.
It does happen a lot, yeah. And it is just interesting to also see where that comes from. And I mean, sex is, a lot of times it is about power dynamics, right?
Yeah.
So I find it interesting how this is expressed through language. And when a woman says, oh, I want to fuck you, it's like, oh my God, you can't say that.
Or do we ever
Like-
actually say, I want to ride you hard? Like,
Well, I do.
is that a thing that, like,
do.
would we say? I do.
I wanted to say a lot of women do.
Well, a lot of women do.
sometimes,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if you're really eager to be like, I really want to ride you or whatever, then for sure. I
Yeah.
think on occasions I've said it. Like,
Yeah.
it depends on the situation and the person, for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure.
But
And,
also,
yeah.
your energy also vibes the other person's energy. So often you find people who would be great receivers of such comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as normal for a lady during sex to be like, oh, I'm gonna ride you so hard.
Yeah.
And for a guy to be like, I'm gonna fuck you so hard.
Or just to like dictating the terms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm
It's-
gonna do this now. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh wow, I've never experienced this before.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it is just funny how it all comes back to power dynamics and us fitting into this man fucks the woman
Yeah.
narrative,
Yeah.
which is pretty screwed, I think. But this is then, of course, expressed through language and expressed in dirty talk as well.
Yeah. Or actually expressed in body language.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's my sex talk is
Yeah.
is body language. Because for sure, a lot of men have said to me, "I'm gonna fuck you hard" with
Yeah.
their body.
And I think a
In
lot
other
of people
words.
want to hear that as well.
Yeah, honestly, I am
Yeah.
okay with hearing that.
Yeah.
That's
Fair enough,
that's get
yeah.
my boat flowing. So I am okay with that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a different kind of language, and that makes
Yeah.
sense. That as long as I can read their sex talk through their body, then I guess I'm sex talking as well.
Yeah.
But I just don't care for using words.
Yeah. No, I totally get
Well,
that.
often I think there's words that just doesn't describe what I want. That my body can better express what's good and what's not. And also I have this weird perceivement that, and also that's super evil, that a man should be able to read my body language and know what I want, and me not saying what I want. Like, I could tell him, do it like this, but I'd rather want him to try and do something and
Yeah.
read on my body what
Yeah.
works and what doesn't, because I will be very explicit to what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'd rather want that communication to me being like, no, scooch more to the left.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
whatever.
yeah, that is just, yeah. It can be awkward if you're like, oh, can you please put your finger on my clitoris and
Put
not...
it on there.
It's not on my stomach, you know?
A little
like,
bit more up. No, to the left.
To the left.
God damn it.
have
I'll
done
just
that.
tell
I have to
myself-
say, I have done that because I
You've
was...
been guiding them
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awkward.
I just don't have time for anything else. I'm sorry.
But why not take their hand and place it there? Or you can start and then they'll be like, oh, that's where it is. My bad.
Well, if that would happen, that would be nice. But yeah, I mean, there were just situations where I tried to speak with my body language and guide, and still I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, don't
Which is
guide with
fine.
your pelvis. I've done that. Be like, no,
Oh.
I am going to guide you
Yeah.
to it. And then they keep
It's like-
moving their hand and you're like,
Yeah,
no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm moving my pelvis to where the action
Yeah.
is happening. Do
Exactly.
not remove your hand then.
and if you press with your thumb on my clitoris for 20 minutes straight, that's just gonna hurt.
That's just stupid. And wherever you learned that, go away now.
Exactly.
Over and out.
So I just, yeah, at a certain point, I think it's just like, yeah, exactly. Because then I'm just there and be like, okay, no, I mean, this is not going anywhere, you know?
It is literally not. If you're not willing
Yeah.
to learn, I guess sex talk will, or communication again.
Yeah.
Communicate
I think it's really, yeah.
how you want it to be,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're not gonna get far.
Yeah, exactly.
Communication is key, guys.
Communication is key, and just also look beyond power dynamics in a male, female, whatever, specifically, I think that
Yeah.
constellation.
And if you feel it's off, talk about it.
Exactly.
If
And
it
just,
comes natural,
yeah,
have fun.
listen to each other and say what you want and how you feel comfortable. I think that is really important for me to do things I want to do
Yes.
and to express my desires and my pleasure. And not just be like, oh yeah, this is just like something that happens and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys for listening in on this episode of Sex Talk, Dirty Talk, or Communication.
Yeah,
whatever
and,
you want to call it.
Let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, are you a sex talker? Or are you a sex writer?
Yeah.
That might also be a way to do it. Or
Yeah.
how do you communicate with your partner? Or
And tell us stuff that, yeah, you might think other people should know.
yeah,
That's
and we'll listen to you and have fun talking about concubitus.
exactly. And see you in the next episode. Or hear you in the next episode.